All right, Shalom. Want to say call Halal Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai. A double honor to the apostles and the elders at GMS that rule well. Excuse me. Peace and blessings to the Akim that's out there fighting, doing this work with truth and sincerity. Back here again with another lesson. Lord willing, this is edifying to the elect men out there that's listening and watching these videos. Revelations 11:11, and after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life from the Most High entered into them, and they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them. Revelations 11:11, and after 3 days and a half, they're going into slavery, right? Of us waking up now, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, who are the true biblical Israelites that the Bible speaks of. We've been scattered throughout the four corners of this planet because of the disobedience and the great offense that we caused before our power, which is Yahweh, whom the world ignorantly calls God, and his only begotten Son, named is Yahweh Shai, whom the world ignorantly calls JC, or Jesus Christ. Now we know that through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, we're starting to wake up. And a great fear fell upon them, the powers that be, that once suppressed this information from us, from waking up to who we are. I remember years back, the apostle was giving a story about how the guy, they was out there, I think 34th Street teaching, and the guy was in a limousine, and I think he either got out the car or rolled down his window and said, like, how did you guys find out? How did you know? They spend millions of dollars to suppress this information. But see, they didn't count on the Holy Spirit, because Esau is a carnal man, you see? And after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life, see, the spirit of life has entered into us and to the Israelites who's waking up to the truth, to who they are. From the Most High, entered into them. You can't get the spirit by yourself. It has to be from Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, put in you. So the spirit of life from the Most High entered into them, and they stood upon their feet. That's why you see, beginning with the apostles and the elders, the great men before them in the mid-late 60s, and come out of One West, and now you see the bishops and apostles, the elders, and now the men on down, awaken out of sleep, spoken of in the book of Romans. Now we're out on the highways and byways and doing these lessons, because the spirit of life has entered unto us from Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai. See, without having the Holy Spirit upon you, you're not really living. Now you going to work, you eating food, you hanging out with your friends, family, so on and so forth, making money, traveling, right? But you're not truly living, because you don't know who you are. You're still in a dead spiritual state. And they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them, the top elite banking families, man, the powers that be, and them around the world as well. You see, they're going to come with different draconian measures to try to get the men of the Lord off the streets, because fear fell upon them, because the Willie Lynch letter, I have it in my closet somewhere, but it says something about it would take a divine or something, a miracle for these people to wake up. You can look it up, and I'm roughly paraphrasing that. But again, the so-called white race, the Edomites, Edom, their biblical name, the powers that be, didn't count upon the Holy Spirit, man, that we was going to wake out of sleep. And we didn't even know it as well till the Spirit entered into us, when start entering into those men who've been teaching it. And now we start watching videos, and the Lord put the Holy Spirit upon us, and it start to click. Life start to enter into us, man. So right here in the book of John, remember it said life entered into them. So right here in John 6:63, it says, it is the spirit that quickeneth. See, it's the spirit of Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai. Once it's bestowed upon you, you will start to quicken men. You start to become alive. You start to live. You start to see things on a whole nother level. It is the spirit that quickeneth, meaning makes you alive, to truly see this world for what it is, man. Because if you don't have the spirit upon you, you're walking around in darkness and not knowing anything. Now we enter into his marvelous light. Now we're able to see, like in the Matrix. Now we starting to see like, man, this is not life. Like, damn, these people are really trying to harm us, harm the people here on this earth. You know what I mean? Like, it's a lot of all kind of stuff coming out, wickedness upon the top elite families, and what's happening on the earth with this wickedness and idolatry and sorcery and the witchcraft that put upon the people. The people are asleep and not knowing what's going on. It is the spirit that quickens, so it quickens and makes you alive. The flesh profiteth nothing. The words that I speak unto you, they are spirit and they are life. Just like I read to you over in Revelations 11. What the spirit of the Most High entered into them. It says life entered into them. Now we also understand here, since this is taking place, and this is the trend, if you will, which is prophecy and the Israelites waking up. So right here in Baruch, this is Baruch 2. Let's go get to the point. Right here, Baruch 2 and 30. For I knew that they would not hear me, because it is a stiff-necked people. You so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, we are hard-headed people, man. And this message is going out to you, and you still stiff-necked from the time when Noah was teaching. Then the flood came up until this point. You still hard-headed and don't want to wake out of sleep because you think you know what's right. You think you know the path to salvation, if you will. We wasn't designed to put here to work out find our own way to salvation. The Lord made us to be into a special people unto him. So therefore he gave us the laws, statutes, and commandments, man. We have to turn back to the old path and walk ye in it, because that right there will let us know, and it will guide us and dictate us on which way to go, and on the spiritual level, man. Prosperity and protection and everything comes for that. You got to turn and stand ye in the old paths. Nonetheless, here in Baruch 2 and 30, for I knew they would not hear me, because it is a stiff-necked people. But in the land of their captivities, they shall remember themselves. Because we went into captivity. They're trying to say the slave ships don't exist. See, these people has a spell cast over them to where they don't see, but the powers that be is doing that. So we starting to wake up in our captivity, because the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashim Habashai, is going over the planet Earth, and it's gathering his people like a hen gathers her chickens back unto her. So this is what's happening. The word is gathering his people from around the world, and then Jake is starting to wake up to where they are, man. And thus, again, they didn't account for that. They didn't count that the spirit was going to quicken us and make us alive at the end of the day. One, you see? So now we're in our land. Now we're in the land of our captives, our captivity, and we starting to wake up and call upon the name of Yahweh, Bahashim Habashai. And we're also right here in the book of Isaiah. Let's get this real quick. In the book of Isaiah 44, and the Spirit had me to think about this just now. And it says, Isaiah 44 and 5, one shall say, I am the Lord's, and another shall call himself by the name of Jacob, and another shall subscribe with his hand unto the Lord, and surname himself by the name of Jacob. So right now, when it says, one shall say, I am the Lord's, so this is about now us identifying with the Most High and his Son, man. You see, let's look at this real quick. Now we're starting to wake up out of sleep and starting to identify ourselves again with our power that we once knew, because we went off the beaten path, if you will. And by us being disobedient, he took our heritage from us. That's written in the scriptures as well. Let's try this. Let's look at something real quick. This is the book of Romans. Let's see something. 14:8. For whether we live, we live unto the Lord. And whether we die unto the Lord. Whether we live, therefore, or die, we are the Lord's. So no matter what happens to the Israelite, we still belong unto Yahweh, Bahashim Yahawashi. Now, Jake, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans are dying, but you are here dying without wisdom, not knowing who you are. But nonetheless, Isaiah 44 and 5, one should say, I am the Lord's, meaning we now identifying ourselves with our power once more. Another shall call himself by the name of Jacob. That represents that covenant with Israel. You see, that agreement that was put upon us, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Then it says, and another shall subscribe with his hand unto the Lord. This is dedication, allegiance, as belonging unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. You see? And it says, another shall subscribe with his hand unto the Lord, and surname himself by the name of Israel. Again, surnaming himself is taking on the identity